Have you ever looked at her across a table or felt her breath near your neck and realized that while your heart is hammering against your ribs, hers is beating at a perfectly steady, perfectly bored rhythm? You can feel the heat radiating off her skin. You can see the way the light catches the curve of her lip, and you want to close that gap. You want to reach out and reclaim the space between you, but you don't, because she told you in that soft, devastatingly polite voice that she just doesn't feel the spark. It's a haunting phrase, isn't it? The spark, as if it's some mystical lightning bolt that either hits or it doesn't. But I'm here to tell you that the spark isn't a gift from the universe. It's a fire you build with your own two hands. And if she isn't feeling it, it's because you've been trying to keep her warm with a flashlight instead of a flame. You've been being reliable. You've been being a friend. And while those are lovely traits for a neighbor, they are the absolute kiss of death for a lover. Listen to me closely. A woman's desire is not a logical choice. She doesn't sit down with a spreadsheet and decide to be attracted to you because you're a good guy who listens to her problems and remembers her birthday. Desire is primal. It is messy. It is reactive. It happens in the body, not the brain. If you want her to feel the electricity, you have to stop speaking to her mind and start speaking to her nervous system. You have to stop playing it safe. Safety is the enemy of the spark. Safety is predictable. Safety is stagnant. And nothing, absolutely nothing, is less sexy than a man who is predictable. Think about the way you talk to her. Every time you ask for permission, whether it's with your words or your body language, you are dosing the fire. Is it okay if I sit here? Would you like to go out sometime? Do you mind if I kiss you? Every question is a confession of your own uncertainty. And uncertainty is a scent that women can smell from a mile away. It tells her that you are afraid of her. It tells her that you don't trust your own masculinity. And if you don't trust yourself to lead, how can she ever trust herself to follow you into the dark? The spark is born in the tension. It's born in the moments where you don't speak. It's born in the way you look at her when she's talking, not like you're waiting for your turn to speak, but like you're devouring her with your eyes. It's born when you challenge her. When she says something and you disagree, not because you're mean, but because you have a backbone. Most guys are so afraid of losing her that they agree with everything she says. They become a mirror reflecting her own image back at her. But she doesn't want to date herself. She wants to date you. She wants to feel the friction of two different souls rubbing together. That friction, that's where the heat comes from. You've been taught that being a gentleman means suppressing your hunger. You've been told that to be respectful is to be passive. But true respect is seeing a woman for the powerful, sexual creature she is and meeting her there. It's having the courage to show her your desire without apologizing for it. When you flirt, you aren't just being funny. You are signaling. You are creating a private, invisible world where only the two of you exist, a world where the social rules of being polite don't apply. You are telling her without saying a word, I see you, I want you, and I am man enough to handle whatever you throw at me. If she doesn't feel the spark, it's because you haven't given her anything to react to. You've been a calm sea. And she's looking for a storm. She wants to feel the risk. She wants to feel the uncertainty of whether or not she can actually keep a man like you. If she knows she has you completely, totally, and forever, before you've even kissed her, the chase is over. And when the chase ends, the spark dies. You have to be the prize. You have to be the one she's trying to figure out. Tonight, we aren't just talking about tips or tricks. We are talking about a fundamental shift in your soul. We are talking about moving from a man who hopes he's liked to a man who knows he's wanted. We are going to explore the 5 ways to reach into her chest and flip the switch that turns her heart from a steady beat into a frantic thud. This is about power. This is about intimacy. This is about the bold, beautiful truth of what happens when a man finally decides to stop being safe and starts being dangerous. The first way we ignite this fire is by understanding the invisible language of physical presence. You see, most men think attraction is a conversation between 2 sets of vocal cords. It's not. It's a conversation between 2 bodies. When you are with her, how are you taking up space? Are you shrinking? Are you leaning in, desperately trying to catch every word like a hungry dog waiting for a scrap of attention? Stop right now. Lean back. When you lean back, you create a vacuum. And nature, especially feminine nature, abhors a vacuum. When you create space, she feels the subconscious urge to fill it. You become the mountain and she becomes the climber. If you are always leaning into her, you are pushing her away. But when you hold your ground, when you are comfortable in your own stillness, you become a magnetic force. Think about your touch. Most guys touch a woman like they're afraid they're going to get arrested. A tentative pat on the shoulder, a quick, nervous brush against the arm. That doesn't create a spark. It creates a shudder of awkwardness. If you touch her with intent. When you guide her through a doorway, don't just hover your hand near her. Place your palm firmly on the small of her back. Let her feel the warmth of your skin through her clothes. Let her feel the weight of your hand. Don't rush it. Hold it for 1 second longer than a friend would. In that extra second, the spark is born. In that extra second, her brain stops thinking about the nice guy she was talking to, and her body starts realizing there is a man behind that touch. You are signaling that you are comfortable with her body. And if you are comfortable with her body, she can finally be comfortable with yours. Now, let's talk about the second shift. The art of the playful accusation. This is where you stop being her fan and start being her challenge. Most men treat a woman like she's a goddess who can do no wrong. They compliment her shoes, her hair, her laugh. They are so busy being her cheerleader that she forgets they are even a man. Flip the script. When she looks at you, when she smiles, don't just smile back like a mirror. Look at her with a squint as if you're suspicious. Say, I see what you're doing. You're trying to use that smile to get your way, aren't you? It's not going to work. I'm far too smart for you. Do you see what you just did? You've playfully accused her of hitting on you. You've taken the power. You've turned the perfect woman into a troublemaker, and women love being the troublemaker in the eyes of a man they respect. You aren't worshipping her anymore, you're playing with her. When you treat her like a bratty younger sister one moment and a seductive mystery the next, you create an emotional roller coaster. And the spark is nothing more than the feeling she gets in her stomach when she's on that ride with you. You have to be the one operating the gears. You need to understand that she wants to be played with. She wants to be teased. She wants to feel like she hasn't quite figured you out yet. If you are a riddle with no answer, she will spend all night and all the nights after trying to solve you. Stop being so easy to read. If she asks you a question about yourself, don't give her the full biography. Give her a piece. Let her work for the rest. When she asks what you do for a living, don't just state your job title. Say, I could tell you, but then I'd have to trust you with my secrets, and I'm just not sure you're there yet. That is bold. That is sexy. That is the behavior of a man who knows he is the prize. You aren't auditioning for the role of her boyfriend. You are the director, and she is the one hoping for a callback. The spark is the friction between your confidence and her curiosity. If you remove the curiosity by being too open, the spark dies. If you remove the confidence by being too nice, the spark dies. You must maintain both. You must be the mystery and the man simultaneously. You're starting to feel it now, aren't you? The shift in your own energy. You're realizing that you don't have to wait for her to feel a spark. You can walk into the room and create it by simply refusing to be the man she expects you to be. You are breaking her patterns. You are waking her up. We've only just scratched the surface. There are 3 more pillars we need to discuss. 3 more ways to push that tension until it's so thick she can barely breathe. Are you ready to go deeper? Now we enter the 3rd chamber of the spark. This is the one that separates the boys from the men who actually leave a mark on a woman's soul. We call this the power of the silent gaze. Most men are terrified of silence. When they are with a woman they desire, they feel this frantic, desperate need to fill every gap in the conversation. They think that if the talking stops, the connection stops. They think that if they aren't entertaining her, she'll get bored and leave. So, do you like Italian food? Oh, cool. My aunt has a cat. Do you like cats? What's your favorite color? That isn't a date, that's an interrogation, and it is the most effective way to kill a woman's libido in under 60 seconds. The spark lives in the silence. It lives in the spaces between the words. I want you to try something next time you're with her. When the conversation naturally lulls, don't jump in to save it. Don't reach for a new topic like a drowning man reaching for a life vest. Instead, just look at her, lean back, relax your shoulders, let your eyes go a little heavy, a little sleepy. Look at her eyes, then down to her lips, then back to her eyes. Do it slowly. Let her feel you looking at her. Let the tension build until it's so thick she can feel it on her skin. She'll start to fidget. She might tuck her hair behind her ear. She might ask what, with a little nervous laugh. When she asks what, don't tell her. Just smile, that slow, crooked smile, and say, I was just noticing something about you, but I think I'll keep it to myself for now. In that moment, you have just done more for the spark than 2 hours of polite conversation ever could. You have made her self-conscious in the best way possible. You have signaled that you are a man who is comfortable with tension. You have signaled that you are looking at her as a woman, not just a friend, not just a person, but as a feminine being that you find intoxicating. This leads us directly into the 4th pillar, emotional unpredictability. Women are often much more emotionally complex than men. They live in a world of shades and nuances. If you are a man who is always level, always okay, always fine, you are boring. You are a flat line on a heart monitor, and a flat line means you're dead. To create a spark, you must be a mountain, not a plain. A mountain has peaks and valleys. One moment, you are the most charming, attentive man in the world. You're listening to her story. You're looking at her with that intense gaze. You're making her feel like she's the only person in the universe. You're giving her that high octane emotional validation, and then you pull it back, you look away, you check your watch, you become slightly distracted by something across the room. You become a little more difficult to read. You stop giving her that 100% focus. What happens in her mind? She feels that loss of your attention, and the human brain is wired to value what it might lose. Suddenly, she's not just sitting there receiving your interest, she's working to get it back. She's leaning in. She's trying to be more interesting. She's trying to catch your eye again. This is the push and the pull, the heat and the cold. You are creating a rhythm of desire. You are the one setting the pace. When you are unpredictable, she can never get comfortable. And if she's never fully comfortable, she's always on. Her heart is beating faster. Her senses are heightened. She's looking for the spark. And she finds it in the way you keep her guessing. Most men are too afraid to do this. They think, if I pull my attention away, she'll think I don't like her and she'll leave. No. If you do it right, she'll think, I had him and now he's slipping away. I have to do something to bring him back. That is the chase. And for a woman, the chase is where the spark lies. You are giving her the gift of wanting you, because you cannot truly appreciate something you didn't have to work for. Now we come to the fifth and most dangerous pillar, the one that most men fail at, and the one that causes women to say, I don't feel a spark more than anything else, the absence of moral fear. Do not be afraid to offend her. I don't mean be a jerk. I don't mean be disrespectful. I mean, stop being so terrified of her disapproval. If she says something you think is ridiculous, call her out on it. If she tries to test you, and she will test you, don't fall like a cheap suit. If she says, you're kind of a troublemaker, aren't you? Don't say, oh, I'm a really nice guy, I swear. Say, you have no idea. And honestly, I'm even worse than you think. When you show her that you aren't afraid of her opinion, you show her that you have a core, you show her that your sense of self is not dependent on her liking you. This is the ultimate aphrodisiac. It tells her that you are a man who can lead because you aren't constantly looking back to see if she's smiling. The spark is the friction between her world and yours. If you abandon your world to live in hers, the friction disappears. You have to stay in your own world. You have to be the man who says, no. You have to be the man who has boundaries. You have to be the man who is willing to walk away if his standards aren't met, because a man who can walk away is a man who is worth keeping. Imagine her now. Imagine you've been doing this. You've been using the gaze, you've been using the playful accusations, you've been the mountain, you've been unpredictable. She isn't looking for a spark anymore. She's looking for you. She's looking for a way to get closer. She's looking for the moment when your hand finally finds hers, or when your lips finally stop teasing and start taking. But there is one final thing. The most important part of the entire ritual, the thing that ties all 5 pillars together and ensures that she never ever looks at you as just a friend again. Gemini said, we have built the tension. We have laid the foundation of the gaze, the push and pull, and the absence of fear. But now we have to talk about the closing of the gap. This is where the nice guy dies and the lover is born. This is the moment where most men flinch. They get her to the edge of the cliff. She's feeling the spark. Her breath is shallow. Her eyes are searching yours. And then at the last second, the man gets scared. He thinks, what if I'm wrong? What if she rejects me? And in that 1 second of hesitation, the spark doesn't just flicker, it turns to ash. You must understand the psychology of the man's land, that space between your face and hers, or your hand and her waist. Most men try to cross that space with a question. They try to bridge it with logic, but the spark requires a leap of faith. She wants you to take the risk. She wants to be overtaken by the moment. If she has to give you permission, then the moment belongs to her and the spark is safe. But if you take it, the moment belongs to the two of you and the spark is dangerous. I want you to visualize the slow kinetic shift. When you are talking to her, I want you to start moving slower, not lethargic, but controlled, like a predator who knows the prey isn't going anywhere. If you are twitching, if you are adjusting your drink, if you are looking around the room, you are leaking energy, be still. When you are still and you speak slowly, her entire world narrows down to your voice and your presence. You are literally hypnotic. And in that hypnosis, you start to move in. Not for a kiss, not yet, just closer. Invade her personal space by just 2 inches. See how she reacts. If she stays there, if she leans in, the spark is screaming. If she looks down at your mouth and then back to your eyes, She is inviting you into the fire. This is the masculine mandate. You do not ask for a kiss. You do not ask to take her home. You assume the desire is there because you are a man who is desirable. You speak in whens, not ifs, doff. Instead of saying, maybe we could go back to my place, you say, you're going to love the view from my balcony, but I should warn you, once we get there, I'm not going to be nearly as well behaved as I am right now. Do you feel the power in that? You are telling her exactly what is going to happen. You are taking the lead. You are removing the burden of the decision from her shoulders. Most women spend their entire lives having to be the ones who say no, or yes, or maybe. When a man comes along who simply says, this is what is happening, it is an incredible relief to her feminine soul. She can finally stop thinking and start feeling. The spark is the feeling of being swept away. You cannot sweep a woman away if you are standing still, waiting for her to pull you. Think about the language of anticipation. A spark isn't just about the act, it's about the wait for the act. You have to be the master of the almost touching her lips, almost pulling into you. When you are sitting next to her, let your leg brush against hers, just for a moment, then move it away. Let her wonder if it was an accident, then do it again. But this time, let it stay. Let the heat of your skin soak through the denim or the silk. Don't look at her. Keep talking about something completely mundane. You are creating a split-screen reality. On the surface, you're talking about music or movies, but underneath the table, in the dark, you are having a completely different conversation. You are telling her that you want her. You are telling her that you aren't afraid of her. And you are telling her that the spark she was looking for has been sitting right next to her the whole time. She will be breathless. And that breathlessness is the only thing she will remember when she goes home. She won't remember your job title. She won't remember your polite questions. She will remember the way her heart tried to jump out of her chest when you looked at her and told her exactly how the night was going to end. You have to be the man who is willing to be the villain in her story of being a good girl. You have to be the one who tempts her. You have to be the one who pushes the boundaries, because the spark doesn't exist in the center of the road, it exists on the edge. Now, imagine we take this even further. Imagine you have her in that state of total surrender. How do you keep it? How do you make sure that spark doesn't just burn for one night, but turns into a permanent blaze that she can't escape? We are moving into the deep psychological hook, the part where you become her obsession. We've reached the final gate. You've built the tension, you've mastered the silence, and you've closed the gap. But to make this spark permanent, to make it a fire that haunts her thoughts long after you've left the room, you must master the psychological hook. Most men make the mistake of overstaying their welcome. They feel the spark, they see her eyes soften, and they cling to it like they're afraid it's the last time they'll ever feel it. They become too much. They pour on the affection until the fire is smothered by the weight of their attention. Don't smother the flame. If you want her to crave you, you must be the one to end the moment first. When the tension is at its absolute peak, when you've just shared that look, that touch, or that first electric kiss, you must be the one to pull back. Look at her, give her that slow, knowing smile, and say, I'd love to stay in this moment with you, but I think you're a little too dangerous for me tonight. I'm going to go before I do something we both won't regret. And then you leave, or you change the subject, or you walk away. What you've just done is created a loop in her mind. You've given her a taste of the fire and then stepped back. Now, the spark isn't just something that happened to her. It's something she has to chase. She will spend the next hour, the next day, the next week trying to get back to that peak. She will replay the way your hand felt on her back. She will replay the way your voice dropped when you told her she was dangerous. You have become the ghost in her machine. You have become the spark itself. You see, the reason she didn't feel it before wasn't because you weren't good enough. It was because you were giving her everything for free. And human beings do not value what they do not have to earn. By being bold, by being unpredictable, and by having the strength to walk away, you have finally given her something worth earning. You have finally become the man who doesn't just ask for a spark, but the man who is the spark. Go to her now, not as the man who is hoping to be liked. Go as the man who knows he is the most interesting thing that will happen to her all year. Stop being safe. Start being the fire. If you felt a shift in yourself just by listening to this, imagine the shift she will feel when you stand in front of her. This is only the beginning of your transformation. Most men will live their whole lives without ever understanding this power, but you aren't most men anymore. If you are ready to master every nuance of attraction, the 100 different ways to trigger this reaction, and the exact words to say in every scenario, then you know what to do. Click the link in the description. Join the ranks of men who never have to hear the word spark as a rejection again. Master the art. Ignite the flame. I'll see you on the inside.